Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you're watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, you missed the other part. There's two parts to this again, in What's in Bloom. Thank you for stopping by, I appreciate you so much. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a lot of the blooms that are happening inside that greenhouse. This is the second portion of my What's in Bloom. I've been cutting them in half only because there's so much to show. It would be a 1-hour show, and I know some of you don't have the time with your busy lives. I get it, so I'm trying to figure this out and try to make it easy for everyone. So without further ado, let's go look at some blooms. You know, I'll just take the camera with me. All right, guys, so I'm inside the greenhouse. Decided to start here since we were already here. And by the way, I am so sorry that my shirt looks very sweaty, but it is impossible to film these episodes in August looking dry. So it is what it is. Let's just roll with the punches. Now, let's start with this gorgeous Phalaenopsis pulsarisma. Now, for you guys that don't know, I did say it on my previous video. If you did not see the first video, this got reclassified as a Phalaenopsis. And as I said, I agree with that 100% because of the obvious reasons. It looks just like a Phalaenopsis. And look at that. Is that not a gorgeous little flower? And let me show you the size. Look at that little flower. And I got this from Lady Vanda a while back over at OFE's Orchid Festival. She talked me into getting it. She goes, you have to have this one. The flower is so beautiful and the tones are so strong that you would love it. And I already have a couple of them, but not in the red. I have it in the white and the pink. So this one, which it's called red, but it's more like a fuchsia, actually has such a pretty tone. And unfortunately, it doesn't register that well, or should I say, it doesn't register the same on film. The color is way more vibrant than that, if you can believe that. And oh, good, some shade. Now the color shows better. See, that's much better. And this one, this is the third spike I get from this. And this is a fairly new plant. I got this last year, but I switched her from the plastic pot into one of my mounts that I love to use from the Orchid Supply store. If you guys are wondering where I get all these mounts, I get them all from the Orchid Supply store. And I got to tell you something about those mounts. The owner, Ken, he's an orchid collector, owning over 500 different varieties of orchids. And I guess his hands have a blessing because every time I put my orchids in the mounts that he sends me, I kid you not, within a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, I start seeing new growth or spikes. And somebody told me that here I go. Old habits, that the Phalaenopsis pulsarisma is actually a ground grower. It grows from the ground. I did not know that. A viewer of mine told me that, but this one did not get the memo. She likes being on a mount. And I love this mount because it was like an L or a shoe. You can't really see. Hold on, let me see. Here you go. And we pull back a little. See, it's like an L. And I thought it sat there so pretty. So if you guys are interested in these mounts, go ahead and try out the Orchid Supply store. They have a bunch of new ones. I have featured them several times on my channel, and I got to tell you, every time I get new stuff, I'm never disappointed. Now this, if you guys have seen my channels on my favorite orchids, this is my favorite orchid in the greenhouse. Why? Because the fragrance, which I got to tell you, there's competition with the Tessellata, the Holy Ghost orchid. This is from Banyang's. This is the Vanda Fantasy, Ben Fragrance. I'm trying to find here it is. It's gotten so many roots that, here we go. Vanda Ben Fragrance, yes. And the name is exactly what it suggests. The fragrance on this is like To me, it's like butterscotch, cookie, grapey type of. Whew, it's so strong, guys. This is a very, very strong, sweet buttercream, grapey smell. But I love, because I don't have anything with tones like this, I love the subtle tones in this. It just reminds me of a very vintage type of flower. So not only is the flower beautiful, but just the fragrance itself is spectacular. Like I said, if I can do a scratch and sniff YouTube, you guys would be very delighted with this Vanda, because it's just, and it's a heavy bloomer. Look, it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shoots, and I've had this only a year. I've had this for, no, 2 years. I've had this Vanda for 2 years, and I've had 7 spikes in 2 years. So this is a beautiful, generous blooming Vanda, and every time she blooms, that's her spot. She earned this spot because it's right at the entrance, and as I stand there sometimes to water or do things, you can, and the breeze hits it, the fragrance is just delicioso. Now look what we have here. Do you guys remember this orchid? I showed it last year. This is half of that orchid. It belonged to a friend of mine in Tampa, Jeff, and sometimes when he buys orchids, he likes to split them and share them with me. And he brought his here a while back, and I was a little bit reluctant to split. I was afraid to kill it because I wasn't very used to doing that. And I finally did it, and my half this year has given me 5 flowers. Look at this. This is the Miltonia moreliana, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful flower. It also has a beautiful fragrance. It's like it's also floral. It's not so pungent like the other ones that I've featured, but it is a very pretty fragrance, and the flower itself is gorgeous. Look at that. It has that traditional or that classic big lip that it's known for. Now, it's not to be confused with the Nu'uanu, which is the one I just got, the gift that I got from Tang, from Clearwater, Springwater Orchids. He gifted me 2 weeks ago one very similar to this, but the lip is a little smaller, and it's definitely, I believe, a cross of the Miltonia moreliana with something else. But these are Miltonias that can withstand heavy heat. These Miltonias do handle the heat. I'm telling you right now is about 92 degrees temperature, and the humidity is about 85. So just imagine what it feels like here. That's why I look like, my shirt looks like it was sprayed with water. And I could change the shirt, and literally within a minute, it's all sweaty again. So I'm sorry for that stained shirt, because I noticed it a little while ago. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like in front of the videos here with wet shirt. But anyway, doesn't matter. Hashtag ranch life. So this one is again blooming for me. Do you guys recall this mix of Tessellata with Mimi Palmer? Now let me see if I can find a tag. Here we are. This is from Krull-Smith. I bought this last year in November, and one of the guys there pulled it out and says, look, we only have one of this one, and I think that this one is something you should have. And boy, was he not kidding, because look at all this. Since I've gotten it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's given 6 shoots, and I got this in November. All right, this one is always giving me flowers, and it has that traditional Mimi Palmer pattern, but then you see these ruffles around the leaves. So the Tessellata with the Mimi Palmer, those two together create the most beautiful fragrant orchid. So August has become a fragrant month. Everything in here in the greenhouse smells amazing. When you're inside here, it's like a candy store, literally. It smells so sweet in here. And that's one of the reasons I like to keep all my blooming orchids in one spot. Is number one, I've learned that the flowers do last a lot longer. When I used to keep them separate, they didn't last as long. When I keep them together like this, all in one room, I don't know what it is, they last forever. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like the popcorn one, that one over there, that one's been blooming forever. And I'm like, when is she gonna go? Not that I'm in a hurry for her to go, but it's just amazing how long they last. Now this one I did show you guys before. I'm gonna just briefly talk about her. I always forget the name. It's Pulitz Prize or something like that. Pulitz Prize or whatever. And it just reminds me of Hawaii. That beautiful yellow and that sort of pinkish orangey center is just, it spells Hawaii to me in color. And it is a very beautifully fragrant flower. It's a mix of a Vanda with a Riconstylus. So it's a Vanda Constylus, I think is how you say it. Either way, as you guys know, the name will be on the bottom. It's a beautiful orchid. This is their time to bloom. Excuse me. Is their time to bloom. So I'm very happy that it gave me this spike because it's one of my happiest ones when they're blooming. Now I have more spikes coming up ahead. You know, I'm showing you guys a lot, but there are a lot of spikes. I did move this massive Hoya here now into the orchid room only because it did not fit in my Hoya room. It was taking too much space. So I ended up bringing her out here in case you guys, I know you guys notice a lot of what's in the background. And remember I was saying that these flowers last forever? This flower has been there now for almost 2 months. It was 3 flowers and she is still, well, she's not focusing. She is still blooming beautifully. She's starting to spot a little, but like I said, everything is like taking its time. It's not really, you know, dying off so quickly. But I love these Paphiopedilums. I will put the name of this one. I can't remember the name. This was one that I lost a tag and a viewer actually named it. I lost a lot of tags. There was so much wind here and we've had so many storms coming by that a lot of my orchids lost their tags. So I have to start renaming and retagging and there's so much to do. So let's see. This one's on its way out. This is a Schilleriana, Cattleya Schilleriana, mixed with a Brassavola nodosa here. And I put this one on one of the mounts from the Orchid Supply store. And it gave me so many flowers this year. This is like the 4th flower that it blooms out. It's already on its way out, but look, I had more here. So I'm very happy. Oh, the smell of this. With this wind, I get a lot of that fragrance. Now, let's see what else can I show, because I don't want to forget. Oh, by the way, Cattleyas. I've noticed that Cattleyas really do like to be mounted. I've had these on clay beads and it's been a little struggle, and I'm going to show you why I rather have them on mounts, and eventually they will all be in mounts. Do you see what this is? Do you know what that is? That white thing there on the pebbles? That's salt settlements. This is from fertilizing. If I continue fertilizing this plant and the salts continue to settle on the top, I will destroy the roots of this plant eventually. So what I am doing, here, let's go back. Hey, Morris, you were here the whole time, buddy? I didn't even see you. You're playing Mr. Shy today. Yeah, you're playing Mr. Shy. He's been so cool. He's always with me now. Like, I have to be careful because I step on him now. He's always around my feet. But here, let me show you what I did. I took one of them out and I put him on a large piece. It's the only large piece I had. I think I'm going to use the other driftwoods that I just received from the Orchid Supply store for the other ones. I don't know if they're large enough. I hope they are. But because they're so big, these Cattleyas, they were not doing too well. And I rehabilitated them back and they are doing beautiful. Well, since I put this one here, look at this. New, and then these are all new, but these were already growing when I planted there, but these are all new. So again, if you want your orchids to do well and you have the ability to mount and place them in your yard, that's the way to go. I know some of you can't do it because you live in apartments, but even if you have a small apartment, you can do a couple of small mounts with minis. And I gotta tell you, like this one up here, this Oncidium was not doing well. And I put it on that big custom made mount, also from the Orchid Supply store, and look at that. So I can't wait for it to spike. It hasn't spiked for me, so I'm hoping that now that I put it here, it'll spike. So stay tuned for that one. And speaking of spikes, this one started to spike too, which is the one that's in my I got that base from I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name. If you want one of those bases, they actually sell them at OFE's. They do carry those and they're awesome. They have different sizes. Let me see if I have anything else in here in my workshop, which is a mess right now because we're in the process of moving things around. Oh yeah, my Hoya. Check this out. This Hoya smells like chocolate. Like dark chocolate. It is so sweet. And this one is what they call a pubic calyx. And look at that. Oh, it's such a gorgeous flower. I was hoping I could capture it because she's been in bloom for a while. I could capture it before she goes. And look at that, man. Such a pretty flower. Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Now, this space is getting a little crowded only because in the summer, we've had a lot of rain and some of my orchids did not like all that rain, so I brought them in here. If you guys remember the boat that Lewis made, I put the Freya's Firefox, and look at the leaves on this monster now. She loves it here. And at first I wasn't sure it was gonna do too well because you know, phals can be very picky when you change them. But this one gave me new growth on all three. I got the new leaves on all three since I put it in here. And I'm loving the boat. It's just such a cool little concept. And it holds, for me, I think phals are the best for these boats, only because if you put something that shoots a big stem, it's probably gonna put the weight on top, and I don't know, I don't think it will work very well. So by putting these phals, it'll create a bed of beautiful flowers once it starts blooming. And I did incorporate a fan because, oh my God, it's just so hot inside here. And I've noticed that it's helping a lot. Excuse the mess. All these boxes, here's a tent, here's quick tent. It's still here. It's here as main priority. And I'm gonna show you guys where I'm gonna put the greenhouse. By the way, this is what the greenhouse will look like. It's a 10 by 9 by 8. It has windows and a door. So it gives extra space, extra areas for airflow. This is where we're gonna place it, in this spot right here. But as you can see how that dips, that's why we have those cylinder blocks, is that's where we have to level out all this area here. We have to cut this papaya tree that randomly grew here. It did give a lot of fruits, but it's just way too tall and it's not giving anything anymore. So this will be the spot. I think it's a perfect spot for it, only because it has I have the hose over there and I could just stretch it here to water my plants. It has a lot of shade, so we are going to probably cut some of these branches just to leave in some sunlight to come in. But I love this space. I've had plants in this space before and they do well. My Hoyas weren't here at one point. I had that over there, as you can see. I had it here and it loved it. So once we get the chance to level this out and drill the holes, this is where the greenhouse is gonna go. And I wish I could just snap my fingers and have it now because I do need the space right now. All right, guys, I think that's it for the blooms. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but let me see. Let me walk around and let's walk around the ranch. You know, let me show you how tall my Arachnus orchid has gotten. Do you guys remember that I planted this with my partner Lewis? It used to be by the greenhouse and it wasn't doing too well. Well, I want to show you how tall they get. I am going to have to cut it because I think it's a little too much. But look at that. It's so tall. It's bending over and trying to get to the cable. And that one up there, look. Oh, look at that. Let me see if I can. All the way up there. So I may have to cut these and bring them down here so that way when they do bloom, I get to see the blooms down here and not all the way up there. It would be kind of like disappointing. So I wanted to share this because I keep forgetting to show you. Now, my Spathoglottis, this one has been blooming a lot. And I love this color because cranberry and yellow. But look, it starts pink and then it opens and it's cranberry and yellow. I've been trying to see how well I do with Spathoglottis. I have a feeling that this is the sweet spot because as you guys can see, the leaves are fairly green. For me, what happens is, and I'm going to show you in a bit, my Spathoglottis get really beat up. Check this out, how gorgeous this color is. Is that not so pretty? And I got all these, well, I didn't get them, Lewis got them. But you see this? You see how they get? They're prone to fungus due to the heavy rains. So I'm always spraying them. I planted them in the ground and they just don't like it. They're not happy with it. So I'm gonna keep them all in their pots since they're doing well in their pots. And I do feed them the same way I feed all my other orchids weekly. Now this, I don't know what this is. Lewis bought this, but look at this, how cute, guys. It's not an orchid, but it sure does look kind of like one. Is that not the cutest little flower? And he bought this at the flea market, and it was a very tiny little plant. I had her in the greenhouse, but she just got way too big for the greenhouse. So we brought her out here and she is blooming like crazy. I think this is a spot for her. She'll never leave this place. You will never leave this place. Look how pretty she looks there. So, and I don't think I'm gonna put her in the ground. I'm gonna put her in that big pot and just keep her there. In case we need to move her, it's much easier. All right. I think that is it for today. I don't think we have anything else. Well, besides my beautiful bonsai that is still blooming and doing beautiful. This one, I used some medium from the Orchid Supply store. It's on compost. I gotta tell you guys, since I used that stuff on this was like a small little tree. It has busted out in blooms. Look at that. This is gorgeous. And I too have been feeding this the regular 20 every week, half a dose. There's nothing blooming here. There's spikes over there, but no blooms yet. All right, I think this is it. Let me turn the camera around. All right, guys, so I decided to add this into the video only because I could only capture it at night. So I wanted to add this into my What's in Bloom. Now, if you guys remember, I got this huge Queen of the Night at a nursery, local nursery here in Miami called Santony. And I only paid $25 for this massive, hold on, let me see, because it is dark. So if this phone has problems focusing in the daytime, I'm sure it's gonna it's gonna have a problem now. Here we go. Oh my God. Okay, there it is. So it's starting to open. It's a really, really big flower, as you can see. And I can't wait. This is the very first bloom I get. It only gave me one bloom, but that's okay. I just want to see what it looks like. So I'll keep you posted. All right, guys. So it is about 10:30 right now. And let me see. good focal point here. And that's how much she has opened. She's almost at 100%. Here, hold on. There we go. Look how gorgeous that is in there. And look who's over there. He doesn't miss one. Excuse me, sir. You're in my shot. So there. It's gorgeous. It smells really good too. But I don't think I'm gonna stay up to see the whole thing completely open because I'm tired. I'm trying to stay up to see the whole thing. Yeah, I know, Morris, you too. And Patrick, they're keeping me company tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed that small little bonus. It's very pretty. All right, everyone, that is it for the What's in Bloom. I have shown you everything I have in bloom for now. There's plenty of more spikes in there to show you guys in the future. So I'm excited about that as always. And of course, when the fall comes in, there's a bunch of other flowers that open up. So it seems like we're gonna have year-round blooming from here on, which makes me very excited because there's lots of content. But speaking of content, I did explain it on my last video, but in case you guys are watching this video and you didn't see the first one, I have a little bit of information. Please don't miss out the OFE's Orchid and Plant Fair that's gonna take place on the 20th and 21st of August. There's take a screenshot of that, and please go by and see say hello. I should be there probably Sunday. I don't know if I'll be there Saturday. Saturdays for me are toss-ups. You know, sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. So if I'm not there Saturday, for sure I'll be there Sunday. I will be recording some beautiful flowers and bringing them to your home. If you're not in Miami and you're not able to go to the show, don't worry about it. I will bring it to your home through my videos. All right, so move away. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking by. Again, I appreciate all the comments you've been leaving. They're beautiful comments. I love the positivity on my channel. I love that you guys are not, I've seen other channels where people can be a little bit mean in the chat rooms, and I'm so blessed with you guys that you guys are so kind, so loving. That's why I try to answer all your messages. I even when it's so hard for me to do, it could take me sometimes a week or 2 weeks to respond, but I always try to respond because it's the least I can do for the time that you're giving me and watching my channel, supporting my channel, and leaving comments. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys so much. I truly, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is a wonderful journey. Sorry, I get a little emotional because when I started this channel, I wasn't expecting this. You know, I just did this for fun. So all these things that you guys have been leaving in my comments have been wonderful to read. And considering that I was very ill and I felt really bad with my back, you guys kept me company with your comments, and I was reading them all while I was laying in bed. So thank you so much for being part of my world and part of my channel, and for visiting and coming to me when I go to the shows. I love the fact that you guys come over to talk to me, and we go shopping and we joke around. This is just a wonderful, wonderful journey that I'm taking, and it wouldn't happen without you. So again, thank you. I will see you on my next channel. I am Nelson. You're watching Nature Nell, and remember to always, always keep it green. See you next time. I'll see you at the show. Bye.